everybody. Welcome to Spanish Aquí Presents. It's Riza, Oscar, Tony, and after what felt like forever, Carlos.
Many reboots later.
Carlos is in the house.
He's back.
What's up, everybody?
Daddy's home. Daddy's back.
Daddy. But Oscar's the only one who's like, no, I'm not going to be a part of that.
Yeah, he's
Father. Welcome home, Father.
Oh, my God.
He's
good to
very
be
upset.
back.
He was
He's
the
been
man of the
gone.
house while you were gone.
Back. What's up, everybody?
Carlos, how are you?
I am
how are you feeling?
So happy and so exhausted. I literally, the last day of filming was yesterday. And I can't wait for this thing to come out. You know, you go into the vortex, and I really just went in the zone for 2 months, and it was glorious. It really felt like a snap. It really did.
Do you feel like it was faster this time, like filming during the pandemic?
Yeah, it absolutely did because there was no hanging out. So like it was always like to set and back to my house, to set back to my house, like. And like on the weekends when I was just trying to rest, it didn't feel like enough time. So it was like, even like I might have rested on Saturday, but then usually like by Sunday I had to get ready for the next.
Yeah.
And so like you get the stuff per block, so you know what you shoot every 2 weeks. And usually on the weekends I would print out all the sites for that week so that I would know what I would have to memorize. And that's a whole process. It's a whole system that worked, you know, that works for me. But it usually happens on the weekends. So even if I'm not technically shooting, then I'm prepping for it. But it was really beautiful. And to be honest, it's weird because I was such in the zone that I was just telling Steph and Linda, Linda's a cochorrona. Le digo cochorrona, showrunner. La cochorrona y los cochorrones.
That sounds like
Marvin.
So many other things.
Mi cochorrona, mi cochorron. I TM that term, and hopefully that it'll take off. Los cochorrones, co-showrunners. And I still remember most of like the biggest, like the lines. They're still like in my brain. It's so crazy. Like I could probably do. If prompted.
No
spoilers. I can't do spoilers.
Can we get any hint as per when it'll be dropping, or you're not allowed to say one thing?
I mean, we don't know for sure, but there's a good chance that it's gonna drop this year.
Okay.
Ooh.
So that's all I can say.
I'd love a holiday Gentified binge personally.
So we'll see. It's looking good because the turnaround works for it to come out. So it'll be up to Netflix, obviously, at the end of the day. And last time, the first season, it took a little longer because they had a specific slot. And that's why even though we shot that in April, May of 2019, it didn't come out till February of 2020.
Oh my God, that's right. Because I remember you came to my birthday like late as fuck because you were still on set.
Yeah.
And that was in May.
And
so
Yeah. It was actually your birthday party was like super close to the set. So it worked out. So I drove directly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
glad
2019,
I made that happen for you.
pre-pandemic. How y'all doing? What did I miss?
So many things.
You know,
we all had a baby.
Oh, wow. Damn, I leave you guys for a couple shows.
What happened to yours, Tony? Tell us.
Mine's furry. I had a furry baby.
Oh, see, you keep...
He brings it back
he does
to
it.
himself.
He does it to himself.
What? I'm talking about like a dog. I don't have a dog. I want to have a dog, but...
How does Tony always bring it back to furries?
Accidentally. I'm not even doing this on purpose.
It's amazing.
I swear to God, I just recorded a podcast yesterday and I accidentally did it.
You know, you just reminded a whole swatch of people. I was like, oh my God, that's right. Tony and furries.
Tony's very adamantly not a furry.
Y'all forgot.
No, I remember. I always
But now
remember.
Tony's here to remind you that he's a furry through and through.
Oh my God.
He's down. He's
Talk
down
about
for the
anything
cause.
else.
Yes. Oh, okay. We'll talk about something else.
I'm not shaming, but I'm not.
I'm not
just
shaming.
not.
Okay, we have a pica that I was thinking maybe we can have producer Anita jump on and explain it because she did it so well before. Producer Anita Q, come and tell us our pica.
Anita, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, it's Anita Flores.
Wow.
Our showrunner.
Our Llorona.
Al Chorrona.
I was not expecting this, but okay. I will tell you this.
Why are you all dressed? Then that's weird. You're like, you have an evening gown. If you weren't prepared, why are you wearing an evening gown? That's weird.
It was a coincidence.
Okay.
Fair.
So here's the idea. I've looked my name up on Urban Dictionary. I don't know why. I just thought it would be fun, and I was shocked by the results. And I thought it would be fun for everyone here to look up their names on Urban Dictionary to see what comes up. And I think the results might surprise you.
So what is
Can
saying?
you tell us what your results were that shocked you?
I can give you one that really shocked me. One that I'll never forget, which was, I think, somebody who was angry at an Anita who said, Anita is a human bicycle.
What? In that she transports people around efficiently?
No, well,
environmentally friendly.
I thought it was perhaps of a sexual nature,
based on the
like
Shakira
everybody
song?
gets a ride.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Right.
That was like
la bicicleta. Isn't there a song?
Yeah,
Shakira.
Different. Yeah,
Her
with
and
Carlos Vives.
I think.
Carlos Vives, yes.
Carlos Vives y ella.
Wow.
Okay.
One at a time, though. What's so bad about that?
Can we rewind for a second because I'm very unfamiliar with Urban Dictionary. So this is a user-generated site where people post. So it's very similar to Wikipedia, where people write people's names
Not generally.
about slang or
slang.
what?
I think for the most part, I thought it was only basically about sexual acts and or slang terms.
I see.
Yes, to clarify, that is true. So Urban Dictionary is something I've been on, I'd say, perhaps since I was a teen, and it is the place you look up perhaps words or things you've heard people talk about in school. Like a hot lunchbox. You're gonna have to look that one up.
I can only imagine.
Okay. Thank you, Jordan. Jordan's pop. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jordan is now looking up hot lunchbox. I'm scared. Oh, it's not there.
Try one of those.
Wait, it started to say it in the little type window.
Well, maybe someone took it out.
Oh,
there's
wait
Jordan.
a second.
These are such long descriptions, huh? Like they're not like that's not.
Jordan is a beautiful boy.
Oh, okay.
Jordan is an amazing guy.
Oh,
these feel
Jordan
very
is absolutely
complimentary.
fantastic.
Hey, Jordan. Okay.
Sexy side to her.
Oh, and then they have examples
in a
of
female
how to
case.
use them in a sentence. Okay.
Wow.
So I say, wow, that girl seems great. And then someone else will say,
yeah, she looks
like a Jordan to me.
Okay.
Okay, whose name are we going to do first?
Let's start with Riza's. Oh, there's Jordan's full name. Jordan Duffy is a pug-looking... Oh, no. A pug-looking motherfucker who needs to take a goddamn shower.
This is wild.
Is not.
That's rude.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's rude.
That's the top definition.
Oh, we're going with me first. Okay.
Oscar.
A kid that guesses on class cahoots?
That's it?
Wow.
No, there has to be more. Oh, there you go. Okay, I'll read Oscars and then we can each read each other's, I guess. I'll do Oscar. Okay. Oscars are super sweet Latinos with the cutest haircuts.
Oh.
Okay. The best person ever. They are the funniest person you'll ever meet. They're super cute and know how to make a girl laugh. I guess only a girl. Okay, wow. They know how to make their girlfriend smile. Oscar, you have another girlfriend other than me? Wow. Here we go. This is how I find out.
Greedy.
Even when she's feeling sad. He is the smartest boy in class and such a geek. And when you meet an Oscar, you'll realize how awesome they are and how lucky you are to know them.
Wow.
I will agree to that statement. Oscars can get you through anything, whether you're sick of school, taking an L. Like a loss.
Yeah, I know.
You've never heard of taking an L?
Yeah,
I wasn't. No, I just, I wasn't sure.
It's highlighted so that you can. Urban Dictionary will tell you what taking an L
exactly.
is.
Yeah, or
I thought it was like taking the L train.
Or doubting yourself. Or doubting yourself. An Oscar will be there to save the day.
Wow.
Did you hear? And then the one sentence. Oh wait, can you go back? The one sentence they have is, "Did you hear? She's dating Oscar. He's a real one."
Wow.
Okay.
Oscar, how do you feel about
short
that?
Hispanic sexy guy with a charming smile? This is getting very specific.
That's from 2013. Okay, so we read.
Wait a minute. We're on OscarMontoya.com.
Oh my god.
No, we
You
should
wrote
read
this.
the more like recent one, I guess.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
if not, there's gonna be a bunch.
Yeah, I think we should try to find a
Wow.
positive one and a negative one. And
What is
my
class cahoots? What is that?
I don't know. I'm getting like when you're in cahoots with somebody.
Yeah.
person who's graceful. Okay.
How do you guys feel about Oscars? How do you feel about it, Oscar?
Pretty accurate.
On brand. On brand.
Yeah. So like, so being an Oscar means it's just so specific, isn't it?
Very specific.
It's not just like a generalized term of like somebody who blank. It's just like, okay, an Oscar is this specific kind of person.
Yeah.
He must be Latino, must have a nice haircut, must be short, must have a girlfriend. It's like, whoa, like it's very interesting.
It's like the multiverse.
Who are these people that are writing these Urban Dictionary entries?
Interesting.
Very, very, very strange.
All right.
Very strange.
All right.
But also facts. Also, these are true.
Yeah.
A young albino boy that does crack.
That one was from 2017.
Wow.
We're keeping the 2019 version.
This is like
okay,
the
let's do someone
multiverse.
else.
There's just
But
like
again, it's like there's tons of different. Okay,
Tony.
for Tony,
an extremely handsome, caring guy.
Carlos, read his.
Amazing boyfriend material, loving and sweet. Tony's parent in quotes have great listening skills and will lay around you for hours. Is talking about a dog or a person?
Well, for Tony,
okay. We just covered this.
We literally just the firm.
Lay around
it's
with
fine.
you for hours.
It's fine.
Will write sweet notes and never forget an anniversary or birthday, capable of making even the worst days better and cute enough to kiss. Tony is the best kind of guy. As a friend, they are the most fun to be around. They know all the funniest YouTube videos and are the best at every video game. Can talk about anything with them for hours and never get bored. Very loyal and always willing to help out. Tony is an independent, strong-willed guy with a good head on his shoulders and a smile on his chiseled jawline. He's optimistic and cheerful and has a beautiful smile. Any girl would be lucky to get a Tony.
Lucky!
Wow.
Let me tell you, they do not want Tony or Oscars to be gay or queer because
no. We're the outliers of the Urban Dictionary definition.
This is how I find out you're both straight. Wow.
Okay, the quote that they use is, wait, can we go back to the quote? Hey, Michelle, I heard that you got a new guy. He seems really cool. What's his name?
Oh, that's Tony. He's amazing. I know.
And scene.
So if your name is also a major award, then you're a
you're the prize, right?
Okay, yeah. We're a prize.
How do you feel about your definition, Tony?
Fair, pretty accurate, except for the video game stuff.
Oh, look at this one. Is an amazing brother, but he can be a pain in the ass.
Mira.
It's a lovable guy and someone everyone would be lucky to have in their life. Lucky keeps coming up. Kills their siblings. Wait, go up.
¿Qué es eso?
Kills their siblings, safe and loves them. What?
What is Keels? Like
Keels is one of the gentlemen. Usually the life of the clan party.
What? I don't know what any of that means.
Man, this is okay.
Okay, all right. Carlitos, let's do you next.
Okay, a Carlos is someone that is always trying to make you laugh with his unique, I would say, Dad, jokes about literally
accurate as fuck.
We'll have to edit that. We'll edit it for them.
Right. You can't avoid smiling when he is around. He's definitely the best person to be in class with because with him, nothing is boring.
Okay.
He has a huge patience. As he stands all the crazy girls he has around.
I don't know what that means. As he stands? Oh, I think that was translated like he stands to be like, what is it, right?
I think girls just follow him and he's cool with that.
Oh, good.
Which is true.
Okay.
Carlos is also a very romantic person. As Paris, which is the most beautiful girl.
And most specifically.
So Paris and the Eiffel Tower are one of his favorite things in the world. Okay, is that true? He is a protective friend, hating when other people hurt his friends.
That is true.
Even though you feel sad or in a bad mood, he will always try to make you laugh, achieving it. His photos are the best, especially when he's not looking at the camera.
Oh my God.
If your Carlos does something good, you must give him a points for Carlos, in quotations, and he will answer it with a yes. He is, with no doubt, such an icon. Literally, he's always the profile picture. Definition of profile picture is girls take pictures of themselves, pick their favorite one, and post it as their profile picture. Sometimes girls use 2 or 3 of blank.
Wow.
Wow.
What?
That's so funny, Carlitos.
Okay, and the example is Policía. Ha 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 ho 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 ho. Look at that group. They're all cracking up.
Yeah, there must be a Carlos in it. definitely.
Wow. I think I wrote that.
So what do you think of this Urban Dictionary definition?
That's pretty good. I'm the perfect male specimen.
He's smart, funny, and go back up to that other one, Jordan.
Oh my God! Wait a second.
No, we need to read this one. Hold on.
This is strange.
Carlos,
Lord.
The perfect male specimen. This one is from 2016. He's smart, funny, charming, and quite the sexual deviant. Carlos will make your heart song and soar while making your pussy wetter than the Niagara Falls. That's it. I'm not going to read the rest of it. I just wanted to read those first 3 sentences.
Oh my goodness.
That was it. Wow, Carlitos, you wrote that one, didn't you?
I wrote all of them.
I'm so nervous for mine. No. Okay.
We do have our limits.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
Some of this, it's the Urban Dictionary.
I'm
My
not
name
mad
is
at
so weird.
at the
I wonder
dictionary.
what it says. Okay.
All right, Tony, you're up.
All right. Raisa, and there's a picture of a little bear blowing kisses hearts. And again, furry just follows me. I'm going to read Raisa.
Oh my God.
Raisa. She's the kind of girl who's really funny while at the same time can literally do anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's art, public speaking, sports, maths, and English, you'll expect her to come out with the first prize of straight A's.
I suck at math.
But at sports, everyone loves to have Raisa as a friend, and she always keeps your mood up, even in the hardest times, and she can make a complicated process something really simple for you.
Wow.
The only downside of her is her overconfidence.
Oh my God.
At times, being confident rather than being really shy is a great thing, but Raisa tends to get a bit too overconfident.
Oh my God.
And here's the example. Raisa is so smart, she's got straight A's again.
Oh.
These examples are. Raisa, how do you feel?
I mean, sure, sports, and I'm funny.
Oh my God.
I think the overconfidence is very funny because I feel like that's something that people always tell me that I'm confident. So I love that it was like overconfident. I'm really excited to read the second one, though. Please, somebody read the second one here.
Oh no!
A fatso, and she smells like fish.
Okay,
but she has beautiful hair and big puffy eyes.
I do.
Okay, we're back at
big puffy eyes. That's not a good thing to have.
Are they not puffy? I know my eyeballs.
Your eyes aren't supposed to be puffy. Her eyebrows are be on fleek dough.
Yeah, bitch, they are.
Wow, this is from 2020 and nobody uses on fleek anymore.
Oh my God, the example is, damn, look at that fatty Raisa eating that foot-long Subway sandwich and 20 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A.
Oh my God.
Oh no,
wow.
Lord help me. That's a lot of sandwiches, Raisa.
I love to eat, you guys.
With your puffy eyes.
Oh, my puffy eyeballs. This is
And why are you ordering chicken sandwiches from Bigot Chicken? No,
yeah,
don't eat at Chick-fil-A.
Literally never. I don't think I've ever eaten from
we
there.
can find out what hot lunchbox is.
Who wants to take this one?
Hot lunchbox. Yeah, go ahead, Raisa.
Oh, sorry.
Oh God.
No, go.
Raisa will take it. Raisa.
Okay. Hot lunchbox, where cling film is placed in the mouth of a man or woman while a man takes a steaming shit in their mouths, then receives oral sex in his own shit. Yum.
Got it.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a question. Since we did talk about names, do you guys all know where your name came from? Could we get like a really quick snippet of like...
I have another name.
Guillermo.
Oh.
My name is Guillermo Antonio.
Yeah, that's fine. We did Tony. It's okay.
So how did you get your name?
Kidding. Tony's like,
That's fine. Tony will do.
It's fine. Tony's fine. We're not going to do Barbafella either, so don't you even.
I was named after my father. Next.
Oh, are you then a second or a third or?
I'm not a junior because my mother insisted I not be a junior, but I'm Guillermo Antonio. I have 2 Rodriguez's in my last name. Oh. My father had 3 and his father had 4. Because, Cubans take the last names of all 4 grandparents traditionally.
Sure. You keep it going.
So,
So that's why it's Rodriguez to the 4th degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Oscar?
I know. You were expected to be born the week of the Oscars that year.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
Yes. I was supposed to be named Francisco, And when my mom was in labor, the Academy Awards were playing, and then so she changed her. So I'm named after the award.
Wow!
Are you serious?
So Tony
Academy
wasn't born
Awards.
when the Tonys were playing.
No. Those are in June. Everyone knows that. And I'm an April baby.
Oh,
April
baby.
baby.
You all are little Aries. It's Aries season, babies. I've been sending you guys a lot of the DMs of the Aries stuff I see.
I love it.
What about you, Carlito?
Well, in the 1930s, this is really interesting. I don't have a story. It's just my dad's name.
You look great.
Oh, that was, I really thought you were going to give us a story.
No,
I was all like,
That's it. It's my dad's name. That's it. I'm the second. I wasn't a junior because I was the youngest. I think you have to be the firstborn, right? Or no? I don't know how that works.
Is that interesting?
I was never referred to as a junior, but I don't know why. I'm not sure.
Oh, the reason I go by Tony is because I was always called that in the house because there was already another Guillermo. Anyway.
That makes sense. Are you trying to reclaim Guillermo back, Tony? Are you trying to claim it back?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm fine with it.
Oh.
I'm fine with it.
Raisa, what about you? How did you get your name?
My name, so we're 6 siblings in total, and my parents both had a daughter before they got married. And when they did get married, they had my big brother first, so they named him Rafael after my dad. And then I was next, so they wanted another R. And my mom, I don't think my mom liked any of the ones that my dad picked because he picked like Rebecca and like he really wanted Rafaela. And my mom was like,
Yikes.
Hell no. Yeah. So my mom was like, I think she was like at a doctor's office or something. And she was reading like a magazine. And there was like an article of these like little girls in a beauty pageant. And one of the little girls, it was like a local beauty pageant or something, I think, in Miami. And then one of the little girls, the one that won, her name was Raisa, with it like spelled like my name with the Z, because usually it's not spelled with a Z, it's with a Y or an S.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, "Oh, that's like cool and weird." And then she like pitched it to my dad, and he was down. And then that's how my
Did she keep that article? Do you have that article so that you can
I don't have it. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm like, that's literally the most I know about it, I think, because everybody always asks me like where, like if I have like a tia or like an abuela. I'm like, no, like I have like a weird name.
You have this lady who's now, I don't know how old is she now? But
she's probably like in her like, like 70s or something or 60s. I don't know. Yeah. The original Raisa that won the beauty pageant, hit me up. Find me on the DMs. I'm just kidding.
Internet, do your thing.
Yeah. And then, and then my little brother and my little sister, they both were with an R. So, and we also like the 4 of us, our initials are all the same, RAL. We all have a middle name with the initial A. So I'm Raisa Ane Licea. And then, and then it's Rafael Alejandro, Reynel Alden, and Rachel Angelica.
Have you all thought about your future children's names?
We've talked about this and you guys hate.
Oh yeah, we did that.
And it's still the same, Raisa? You haven't changed your mind after we roasted you?
It's something about, it's like
I'm gonna say
it was a metal. It was a metal. It was a rocker thing.
What?
Okay, I get
Phoenix.
That Phoenix is my nephew and it's a beautiful name. Phoenix James and Cash Michaela. That's my nephew and my niece. We have pretty unique names in my family. I have another niece and nephew. One of them is Cruz and the other one is Callie. But I also had the name Cruz, but that my niece took that one for her son. So now I can't have that one. But I like the name Vintage and then the middle name Rose.
Oh my God, that's it.
For a boy.
Right.
I knew it was either a rocker
this.
vibe, but I transport myself to Melrose Avenue and just walk it. That sounds like the store you would find on Melrose.
I picked this when I was in Miami. I didn't even know what Melrose was. I don't know why I had that name, and nobody.
It's good to remember. It really brings
you guys know my boyfriend. You know him very well, and I mean, his reaction to it the first time was literally like he really thought that it was a joke for a long time. He's like, oh, this girl does comedy. This is a bit, and like I literally said it in front of his friends one day or something, and they all laughed at me like on the Zoom during the pandemic. It's fine. I'll probably have to figure out another thing when we have a baby.
Probably.
Yeah. But I also have a girl name. I want to name her Lola.
Oh.
Because it reminds me of my abuela.
Oh,
Well,
no.
well,
Oh my
no,
God.
I do love Lola Bunny, but no, I do not want her to be a little. I don't need her to be a little sexy bunny baller.
Oh my
She was.
God.
She was. She was
But
just a
yeah, no,
baller.
my abuela, her name's Elsa, and we would call her Lala. So I don't know. I feel like Lola reminds me of that, but that's
But her name was Elsa, like Frozen.
yeah, Elsa. So
Interesting.
Silvia Elsa Bernhardt,
Carlos, let it go.
Oh, okay.
dead.
Dead. Moving.
Let it go. Let it go.
Do any of you guys have future children names that are? Do you like Carlitos? Like, if you had a son, would you want to name him Carlos?
I would like a hat trick. It would make sense.
Yeah.
Like a third, yeah. And then
Yeah.
just, yeah. Maybe
know-
not Felipe, but maybe the first name. I don't know.
Oh,
We'll
I
see.
like that name. Whose name is
like
Felipe?
Oh.
My middle name's Felipe.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anybody ever call you Pipe in the family?
No. Nobody ever. I didn't grow up with.
Pipe. Let's look that up on Urban Dictionary.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because that's pipe.
It sounds
that's
weird
what it's
now.
about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
Pipe.
because I had,
Pipe.
yeah. I'm like, I had a couple friends named Felipe, and we just called them like Pipe.
No. I didn't. Yeah. I always gone by Carlitos. I never gone by Pipe or Felipe.
Oh, okay.
So, well, yeah, maybe, probably. I wanted it, if I had a daughter, I wanted to call her, my abuela's name was Aurora, but then I have a feel, I was just having this conversation like 2 days ago.
Like
But the
Sleeping
only problem is
Beauty.
that in English sucks, because people are like, Aurora. It sounds
Yeah,
like...
but fuck that. We literally no.
Yeah, but we don't, like, Aurora. Aurora.
Where are you going where people sound like that?
Who are you talking to? Lions? Like, yeah, Sleeping
Yeah,
Beauty.
like
That was
Sleeping
my
Beauty.
favorite. I always used to say that was my favorite princess when I was little because she took a nap. Like she was napping the whole movie, and I was always wanted
Princess
to sleep.
Aurora.
Uh-huh.
Truly a Taurus, loving another Taurus. Aurora is the most Taurus princess in the Disney
Wow.
zodiac.
Look at that.
Wow.
And she froze. And she's froze.
You know,
She went to sleep.
And while Riza processes that information, why don't we take a little cafecito break?
Yeah.
And we will come back.
I want to wait real quick. When I told Carlos to let it go, was it clear I was just doing Frozen reference?
No, we had no clue that that's what you meant. Of
Okay.
course, bro.
I'm just a rude bitch.
Okay, before we go, have you guys ever thought of Oscar and Tony? I know we've kind of have talked a little bit about this in that other episode that we did.
I'm sorry,
So I
Oscar.
remember-
I
already
like
said we're
how
going to
Oscar
cafecito break.
just
We can't
went to
answer this.
cafecito break without saying his children's names.
Slam!
My children will be cafe and leche. Let's go.
Okay. Slurpity slurp slurp. We are back with an amazing woman. We have an activist, writer, producer. She has a book coming out in 2022. And honestly, her IG is like just so amazing and educational. Sometimes I'm like, I don't need to read the news. I'll just go on her IG and check her stories out. We have Julissa Natseli Arce Raya.
Yes, so.
Thank you. Formerly just Julissa Arce, but now I'm claiming all my names.
Good.
There you go.
What brought that about? What was the impetus for you to be like, I'm gonna embrace my full name?
Yeah, so I in writing this book that is coming out in 2022, which we just came up with the title, so I'll tell you what it is. So in writing that book, one of the chapters in the book is about names and about the things that we give up when we enter corporate America, and realizing that our names are gifts that our parents gave us. And Natseli, which is my middle name, means what I most love in Nahuatl. And I started thinking to myself, my parents loved me so much that they gave me this name, and I've been hiding it. I've been neglecting it for the sake of appearances, for the sake of making white people comfortable when they can't pronounce my name. And so as I was writing this, I thought, if I really believe this, then I have to start using my full entire name. And so I changed it on my Instagram. I changed it on my Twitter. When I do things like this now, I do ask people to say all of my names. And the Raya, that's my husband's name that I decided to take, but not delete Arce. So it's all my name. It's all part of me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel
now,
you.
what
with
if you
the
have an
names.
ugly second middle name? Like, what if you're embarrassed for your middle name? What do you think you should do? We should do.
I think you should take it up with your parents.
It's a case by case scenario, is what you're saying.
You know what? Take it up with your parents.
I'll do.
Change
I'll do like
it.
an intervention with my parents.
Yeah. No, I had a friend who like went to court and like changed his name because you have to go to court to change your name, and you have to like publish it in a newspaper. If you want to change your name, it's like a whole process.
Wow.
Really?
But people do it. You know, people change their names. I've been reading How to Be an Anti-Racist, and Kendi actually like changed his middle name because his middle name used to be Henry, which was like a slave owner's name that was handed down. And so he was like, fuck that, I'm going to change it. So yeah, you know, if you don't like your name, you're allowed to change it.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that too. I feel like I'm not sure if you would relate to this or not, but like, do you ever like feel like you have to pronounce, or maybe not now, but before, like privy to like, you know, deciding to take on your whole name, like you'd have to pronounce your name very like Americanizado or white, or like, I don't even know, like, because I feel like I've had to do that my whole life because I was always embarrassed of having to do like the back and forth of Raiza and it's just like, it like would just like make me so anxious. So I just started saying Raiza, and that's not like really how you pronounce my name, but that's how half of LA knows me as.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of people, I mean, so I have friends that call me Jules, who are like my friends, and they call me Jules, right? And it's because like we're friends.
Yeah.
Or like I have friends that call, the cariño. Like I have friends that call me Juju, right? And that's again, because that's like an endearment, a term of endearment. But then I did for a long time go by Jules, like at work, like when I worked on Wall Street, or I would just go by J, you know, or JA, like just my initials. And it was all sort of, I think, a sort of a coy to sort of say, well, I don't want you to be uncomfortable saying my name, you know? And that's why I stopped using Natseli, because everybody would say Natseli. And I hated the way it sounded. Like Natseli is just not the same as Natseli, you know? And so I just completely stopped using it. When I was growing up in Mexico, I really only went by Natseli. And that's because when I was a little girl, kids in school would make fun of me, and they would say, Julissa la longaniza.
Oh,
and that's what they
that was a whole different set of
Julissa
problems.
exactly. Julissa la longaniza.
They find something with every name, bro.
Yeah.
So
so
funny.
It's been a journey for Julissa with names.
I mean, why do you think I'm now on my third book talking about my journey? Because
you're working it all out.
Exactly. I mean, therapy, I've been to therapy now, you know, books are my therapy. But yeah, so when I came to the US, nobody could pronounce Natseli, so I just started going by Julissa. But even Julissa, people say like Jalissa.
Yeah.
You know, and so, yeah. Names are a whole thing. And that's why I think we need to, you know, that's why I started there, sort of embracing my name as I am trying to de-assimilate.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I know.
Speaking on that, I recently saw you posted this really beautiful picture of you, and the caption that you put was, "White supremacy could never. Brown, indigenous, Latina, mestiza, mexicana. We are here to stay. We've always been here." So I took a screenshot of it and to read it here. And someone like commented something about you, you know, claiming indigenous, and your response to her was just so eloquently well written that I would love like to speak on it, because you know, it's something that we talk about here a lot on the podcast, how people want to like, you know, decide what you identify as
gatekeep.
Or like what gatekeep. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Carlitos always says that word. And I think it's such a good word. And I think like we all deal with it. So I'd like for you to, if you can, you know, speak on what she said and, you know, your response to it, because I think a lot of us feel sometimes like we want to like claim something, but we feel weird with our audience or whatever that is, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, identity, and particularly the Latino identity, I think is, it's such a like deep topic to like unpack, because, okay, so this is where I'll start. I am an indigenous woman, right? Because my blood is indigenous. Like even my 23andMe, it's like 76% indigenous, right? I didn't need a DNA test to tell me that, because like I wear it proudly on my face, You know, it's like, you can't not look at me and think I'm anything but, you know? And so I am Indigenous. I did also, or I should say, I did not grow up in an Indigenous community, right? I didn't grow up Indigenous. Like, there were kids, particularly when I lived in Mexico, who I would see who were Indigenous, and they were different than me, right? And I was different than them. And they faced a different kind of discrimination and oppression than I ever have, right? And not to say that I haven't faced discrimination and oppression in this country, but it's different than that of an Indigenous person who grew up in an Indigenous community, who maybe Spanish is their second language, right? Because they speak their native tongue. So it's funny because I did this IG live with Immortal Technique. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's like this really amazing rapper who's like all about socially conscious rap. And so I was because he would say so-called Latino. He would say, you know, the so-called Latino. And I was like, why do you keep saying so-called? And he's like, because, you know, the Latino identity is something it's made up. And so I was trying to explain to him why I didn't say Indigenous, because, you know, what I just explained. And he's like, but you are Indigenous, right? So there's people who say you should claim your indigeneity, you should center it, right? And then people like this girl who commented on my IG, who, by the way, was like pretty respectful about it, right? Which is why I even commented. Like, people who just say trash things, I just delete them. But people who engage in like who really want to engage because they want to have a conversation and a dialogue, like, I'll respond. Yeah. You know, her point was, there are Indigenous people who grew up in Indigenous communities, and that we then co-opt in an experience that isn't ours. And I think all of those things are valid. I think every single one of those things are valid. And I don't think that there is a single person that can tell anybody what the Latino identity is, what it should be, because all of us are trying to figure out. And the reality about the Latino identity is that, by definition, we only became Latino. Well, one, when we come to the United States, because before that, you know, in Mexico, I'm Mexican, right? People in Mexico don't refer to themselves as Latino. Like, in Mexico, you're Mexican, right? So, but also, if you take it a step back, like, we became Latinos because of colonization, because of genocide, because of slavery, right? That's how, those are like, I really do believe, like, generational traumas that have been carried on from our ancestors all the way to now. And now we're like coming to, we're having to face how our identity became what it became. Yeah. At the same time, I think that sometimes it's used against us in a way that only is detrimental to our progress. So what I mean by that, and this is going to be controversial, and I talk about this in the book that is coming out next year, which is going to be called "You Sound Like a White Girl: The Case Against Assimilation."
This is the first time people are hearing the title? Are we an exclusive, or did you already tell people?
The second time. I told somebody yesterday.
We'll settle for a second. That's fine.
We'll take it. But until this episode comes out, you cannot talk to anybody about this title, Julie.
Got it.
What happens in this Zoom stays here.
Exactly. Yes, 100%. So one of the things one of the most difficult parts of the book to write, and, you know, I still kind of, in this editing process that I'm going through, I'm still sort of trying to make sure that I have it right, that I get it right. And also telling myself that some people are going to be mad about it and are probably going to criticize it. And like, that's okay, because that's going to happen. But I want to make sure that I do my best in presenting my point of view, which my point of view is the following about, you know, we always say Latino is an ethnicity and not a race, right? Like, that's something that has become sort of like common, that people just say it, right? People just say it, like, Latino is an ethnicity, it's not a race. What does that even mean? Because if we sort of agree that race is a socially constructed concept, which it is, right? Because society, we as a society, instill meaning into the word race, not the other word. And race doesn't tell us about society. We as a society say this is what race means. Like, if you look at like census data, for example, like back in the 1800s, there were literally 26 different races. And like, not even all white people were considered white. Like, there were like people from Italy and Ireland, they were not white in the way that now we think of them as white, right? Mexican was a racial category in the 1930 census. Then that data was used to deport all of these Mexican Americans, including people who were American citizens. And so then, Mexicans, to be protected, said, we want to be white again on the census, right? And the people who decided that Latinos should be an ethnicity and not a race for purposes of the census was INS, which was the Immigration and Naturalization Services. So the precursor to ICE now, right? So immigration and the Census Bureau decided that we should be an ethnicity and not a race. And I think to myself, why would they want to make us an ethnicity? An ethnicity is a group of people who have a different culture, a different heritage. So if Latinos, and when you do the census, it says check here if you were born outside of the country, if your ancestors were born outside of the country, like in Latin American countries. So what does that say to us when we check that box and to people outside of our community who check that box? It tells all of us that no matter how many generations we have been here, we are still foreigners. Mm-hmm. We are perpetual foreigners because our ethnicity is different, because our culture is viewed as outside of America. Okay? And so I do very much believe that at the very least, for purposes of the census, for purposes of how we are counted in this country, we need to be counted as a race. Because otherwise there's no, and I get, how different we are. Like, I get that, that we are coming different shapes and sizes, and we are quote unquote different races, right? Some of us are Black, some of us are indigenous, some of us are white, etc. Some of us are mestizo. But I think that there is something to be said about being counted in a way that accurately portrays our numbers. Right? Because otherwise, there is no uniform data for any of our issues, whether it's on issues of policing, right? Like when we talk about like Latinos who have been killed by police, there's hardly any data on that because half the time Latinos who are killed by police are marked as white because our race is white. So unless police departments are actually also taking the time to say your ethnicity is Latino and then your race is something else, which most of them do not, then we're undercounting the issue. Same thing when it comes to issues of education, when it comes to issues of housing, when it comes to issues of accessing credit. And so I think that, at least for purposes of counting us, I think there's a lot of benefits to being counted as a race, not the least of which we are already racialized in this country, which is why, somebody drove to El Paso and killed 23 people because he was targeting Mexicans. He wasn't targeting us because we're ethnically different. He's targeting us because he views us as racially inferior. Yeah. So that's what I'm writing about right now.
Yeah. What do you think would be the biggest pushback you would get? Is it based mostly on how people feel about their identity that prevents them from seeing your point of view in a positive light, I guess? Yeah.
I think that the biggest pushback I gave myself when I was writing this is about the sort of invisibility of Black Latinos, right? And that if we sort of become a monolithic race, that the view of who a Latino is will continue to be people who look like me, right? People who look like us on this screen, right? People who look like J-Lo. Although when people say that, everybody thinks a Latina looks like J-Lo, I'm like, I also don't look like J-Lo or Penelope Cruz or, any of this, like some of them which are white Latinas. Like I also am not that, right? Which is like a lot of the reason why I wanted to write this book, because growing up, I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Because I wasn't a white person. I also, I wasn't Black. And I do feel like so much of the conversations we have about race are told through this racial binary. And I wanted to know, like, where were we? Like, where were Mexicans when schools were segregated? What schools did we go to? What fountains did we drink from? Like, where were we? And I remember asking my dad, Dad, like, when slavery was happening in the United States, like, where were we? Because I would look at myself and say, I'm not Black, so we weren't slaves. I'm not white, so we weren't the slave masters. So like, where were we? I mean, my dad like never answered that question because, you know, my immigrant dad was like just worried about like making enough money to pay the rent, right? So he was like, mija, estábamos en Mexico, perfecto, haciendo el mole perfecto. Like, you know, he was just like some funny thing about mole. I just remember that part. So yeah, anyways, I'm probably getting ahead of myself talking about this book that people can't even pre-order. God.
You're selling it. Now I gotta wait.
You're selling it for sure.
I have a question then. So you mentioned how like, you know, there's white and black and, you know, on the census or like even like when you even fill out like a job application or your paperwork or whatever, what like do you feel comfortable? Like what do you check? Because I check other and put brown because I'm like, I'm not white enough to be white and I'm not black. And I'm like, the other stuff isn't me. And I'm, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I ask some people that sometimes, and I have a bunch of other like Latina friends that they're like, well, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess I just like click white and then also put brownish. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, it's so wild. Like everybody has a really like hard complex with this. So I wonder how you feel about that.
Well, so like on the census this year, because I had my 23andMe, I actually filled everything out, you know? So like for ethnicity, of course, I checked, you know, Latino. And then for race, I checked Native American. And I checked Native American this time because you know how in parentheses, it had all the different tribe examples. This time it actually had Maya and Aztec inside the parentheses. So I was like,
oh my God.
I was like,
cool.
I can check this now, you know? So I checked Native American. I checked white, like reluctantly, but like, you know, I mean, I do have some part of that. Small percentage, like less than 15%, small percentage. And so I check all of those. But I recently filled out a grant application, and it is for the state of California. And in the grant application, there was no other. They wouldn't even give you the option for other. There was white, there was black, there's Native American and Asian and Pacific Islander.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There was no other. So I checked Native American because I now refuse to check white.
Yeah.
So I just, and I was like, you know, if somebody wants to come to me and be like, you're claiming something you're not, I'm going to say, well, then freaking make a box of something I am.
I think I would just get all the different black, white, and whatever. And that's a mix.
I know, check all of them.
Carlitos, you're frozen.
Oh, yeah, Carlitos, you just froze.
And
yeah, what's that?
I could see you guys. What, my back? Let me know what I'm doing.
Hentify cliffhanger.
Season 3.
Well, while he's on mute, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I could listen to you forever speaking about this, but I'm also super curious because before you became a social justice advocate, you were a Wall Street executive. And I'm really fascinated to see how you transitioned to your current career because I love journeys, and that's a huge jump.
That's a journey, girl.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny talking about this IG live I did with Immortal Technique. He was, I don't think he realized that I had worked on Wall Street because he's also like, you know, super like socialist and like anti Wall Street. And when I told him, he was like, what? Like, he was like so surprised and shocked. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, you know, it's okay. We all used to be criminals at one point or another. And I was like, oh my God, you think I was a criminal? But he's not wrong. You know, I do think that I used to, my job really was to help make rich people richer, right? Like that's what I did on Wall Street. So the answer is not going to be short, but I'll try to make it as short as possible, which is that, you know, I grew up undocumented. Right? Like I grew up undocumented, and I think something we can probably, a lot of us can relate to is that our parents' sacrifices become our debt, right? Like it becomes our debt that we have to pay off. Like we have to pay off all the sacrifices our parents made. And I very much felt that pressure that if my parents came to this country and they brought me and they were struggling so much their whole lives to be able to provide for us, that I needed to make it worth it. And you know, from an early age, my parents really taught me the importance of money. Right? Like one of the happiest days of my childhood was we used to sell funnel cakes. We used to like aguas frescas and tortas. I mean, everything, but funnel cakes mainly. And we had a particularly really good New Year's Eve festival. And we made like $10,000 or something. It was like a lot of money. And it's all in cash, right? So my dad and I jumped on my bed and we took all this cash that smelled like grease, and we're like throwing it up in the air, and we're like, somos ricos, like dancing with this money. And it was the happiest I had seen my dad in such a long time. Because he knew that we were going to be able to pay the rent on time. He knew that we were going to be able to make the car payment, and we were going to be able to we were going to be okay, to start the year off. And so money was something that was really important to me, and having money and having financial security. So when so pretty much since I came to the US, I was like, I'm going to be rich. Like that was like my goal in life. Was like, I'm going to have money, and I'm not going to ever struggle to pay the rent. And I'm not ever going to I'm going to be able to buy whatever the hell I want. If I want to buy these shoes, I want to buy them. I'm going to buy them. Not having to put shit on layaway and they get made fun of at school because I was wearing Payless shoes, So I was very singly focused on getting rich. And so when I started doing research on how does a person get rich? It was Wall Street,
That's so funny.
Wall Street was
pyramid schemes.
Yeah. Not Herbalife.
Not Herbalife.
I was totally going to say Herbalife, and I went with pyramid schemes. I made it broader. I should have made it specific.
Kind of, Avon or all those, which I also did in college. I sold Cutco knives, the whole thing. And so that's why I wanted to go work on Wall Street. I was like, I'm gonna be rich. And then I was good at math. And so it was sort of it came, somewhat easy to do numbers. And I liked the certainty of numbers because everything else in my life was so uncertain that numbers felt like something comforting. I could actually hang on to. Yeah. Comforting. Exactly. So, off I went, and I'd also use fake papers to work at Goldman. And that was a whole nother thing of oh man, are they going to find out these papers are fake, right? When are they going to find out? So having that kind of fear on my shoulders is a whole nother part of the journey.
But it's like a show.
For real.
Are you working? Skipping 2023?
This might be an exclusive, maybe.
I think you jumped the gun to an
the exclusive.
The part that's not exclusive is I've been working with America for years on this. But I think now we're actually nice. A lot closer to it. Except I can't say it,
You can't say stuff.
I can't say.
Mira. We get it. We get it. I'm winking, by the way.
For those that can't see, I want everybody to know listening that Carlitos is doing the wildest wink to camera.
I know. I'm like, is he frozen again? What's going on? So anyway, so all of that.
Is he frozen?
No, he is.
No.
I'm not.
Oh,
are you
good.
An actor?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of that to say, once I had the money and once I had my green card, I was like, I am free. I can, for the first time in my life, ask myself what I really want to do with my life. Because if all else fails, I have a green card, which allows me to get another job. And I have money where I'm not going to be homeless. And I actually took a year off after I left Goldman. And then I still went back to Wall Street for another 2 years because I got an offer that I was just I can't say no to this money. And then after 2 years, I was like, okay, yeah, this money is not going to cut it. I need something else. And yeah, I think in that sort of freedom, I went back to the things that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I used to write poetry and I used to compete in poetry competitions. And I used to write stories and make my whole family sit down at Christmas and read them my stories and make my cousins act out my stories. And I was like, I miss that. I miss that little Julissa that just wanted to tell stories that, everybody would make fun of me because especially my parents were like, ay, qué imaginación tienes. Yeah, cállate. Yeah, déjalos en paz. But now, but now I'm just so glad to be able to tell stories and to shine a light on things that are really important that nobody else is shining a light on. And I think that because I achieved the things that I set out to achieve, I sort of don't have anything else to prove to myself. I've done it. I've proved it. So now I feel like free to do the things that like I really want to do. And luckily it's all worked out okay. I'm on my third book now. My husband and I just bought a house. And when my cat got sick and I felt super overwhelmed, I set up a GoFundMe. Thank you so much for sharing it. Because I was like, I'm not gonna be embarrassed about asking for help because I need it right now. And like I don't have kids. Like I'm not saying, my cats are like my kids.
I get it. I told you that in the DM. So I was like, listen.
Yeah. And so anyways, that was a really long answer. Sorry.
I love
no,
that. That was so
it's better than other people that just say 3 words. So we appreciate it. We'll take this over the other version.
Maybe I'll find a balance between the 3 words.
We're happy to.
No, that was so
fantastic.
good. I love it. And I'm sure your parenters. So there's probably so proud. Like they're like, oh look, mira Julissa. She was doing all these stories and making the primos act out, and look at her now.
Yeah,
they're very proud for sure.
Dude, I'm done memorizing stuff. I just want to have a holiday where I don't have to memorize.
Yeah. It's more hardcore now since you're like legit. She sends all the primos like an email blast, like, here's your roles for this Noche Buena.
She has auditions. No,
she holds 6 months to memorize.
Yeah, exactly. You have 12 months. I'll be back next Christmas. So.
Before we go, I just wanted to ask you like a fun question because we have, we had this very intense like convo back and forth, and you have gaticos, you do the Peloton. What are some things that Julissa has found to have, just fun free time to escape from whatever it is that the world is doing to our brains?
Yeah. Peloton has definitely been like game changing. And I got a Peloton like way before the pandemic started. Okay. So I was like really glad to have it already, and not have to wait to get it. Yeah. So yeah, Peloton has been great. What else? I also like to cycle, like not indoors, so like I have a road bike and nice. My husband and I go out and, sometimes we'll do like 30 miles and it's that's kind of really
Did you say 30?
Yeah, that's so hardcore. Like,
but on a bike, it's not like I'm running 30 miles,
Fair enough.
But Carlos, you can be impressed. That's,
I am impressed.
Oh my God.
I'm very impressed.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nothing you haven't said today that I have not been impressed by.
I do like CrossFit and I cannot ride a bike. Like I can lift, but I cannot ride a bike like more than like a mile. Like I'm exhausted. Really? Like I don't know what it is. I just can't do bike stuff. I think it's because I learned when I was like 14.
Well, it's different than like an assault bike. Like if you're doing an assault bike at CrossFit, and that's not a good comparison to like a normal.
No. But
bike.
a lot of my friends have bike. I'm like, oh, come and do it. And I'm like, dude, I'm like huffing and puffing. I'm like, I could play a basketball game for a whole hour, but I cannot do. I don't know what it is, but so biking is hardcore. So I'm very impressed. Okay, Julissa, I am triple impressed.
And then recently, like now that I have a yard and stuff, like now I'm like pruning a tree and like, planting zucchinis and trying to do stuff outside and grow some stuff I can eat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're very excited for your next book, which will be a gardening cookbook.
Mm-hmm. That you do while you're biking.
Follow Julissa for more recipes. And...
Yes. Okay, well, Julissa, thank you so much. We're really excited to, support you when your other book comes out and all things Julissa. We're all big fans. Can you let everybody listening know where they can follow you and any other socials or places they should be following and listening to?
Yeah. So everybody can find me at Julissa Arce on Instagram, on Twitter. Those are really the only 2 things that I'm really on. And also people can follow Ascend Fund NY, which we didn't get to talk about, but it's a scholarship fund that I started in New York City for immigrant students, regardless of their immigration status. And we've awarded over $500,000 in the last 6 years. And we're about to select our next class of scholars. So check it out.
That is amazing. Wow.
That's great.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Julissa.
So much.
Like,
thank
you are doing literally everything, every single thing. And we are in awe of your story and we want to find out more. So what are the name of your other books that people can find out?
How do we
get them?
I should talk about things you guys can buy. I mean, the zucchini seeds aren't going to buy themselves.
That's all the future. Future projects.
So the name of my books, the first one is called My Underground American Dream. And then the second one is called Someone Like Me.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then you can buy them pretty much anywhere, like Amazon,
right?
Barnes and Nobles. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right on.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I feel like I've reached a certain status now that I have been on.
You finally did it. You finally made it, Julie.
Finally made it. I made it.
The FOMO is over.
Exactly. Now you can tell your friends that you were a guest and they can have FOMO, which is
exactly.
Hold up.
Pass that.
Los Angeles named you. Los Angeles named you Woman of the Year in 2019, but this is now the level.
This is she was like yeah in 2019. But wait a minute, am I gonna get into that SAP?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Awesome. And you could follow us at Spanish Aquí Presents on IG, Spanish Aquí on Twitter. You could follow me at Raiza Licea on Instagram, Twitter, all the things.
And you can follow me at, of course, it's Carlos on Instagram.
And you can follow me at Ozimo on Instagram and Twitter.
You can follow me at Girl Elmo. Why? Because I was given the name Guillermo Antonio, and Julisa's making me go back to my real name, which is Guillermo. I was made fun of it and no one could say it. And it was Guilmo, Girlmo, and Girl
Was
Elmo.
that at Starbucks?
No, this was in life.
Oh,
at the playground.
Yes, at the playground. Even the gym teacher called me Girl
Really?
Elmo.
They made fun of Guillermo? That's
yes,
wild.
even in Miami.
That's wild.
Anyway, until I change all my tags, you can find me at the Tony Roderick. And check out Spanish Aquí Presents on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pandora, the Sirius XM app, or wherever you listen.
Yay! We did it!
Thank you so much.
I'm really glad I got to see your facial expressions when you say that, because when I listen to the show and you say that last part, I'm always like, I wonder what he looks like when he's saying all of this.
There you go.
Mira.
I don't know what I look like because I'm reading it.
Look great.
Oh,
Dale.
A peek behind the curtain. Thank you so much, Elisa.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
This is so much fun.